Hey, I'm Benjamin Beaver, and I have information that some people want, and you might be one of them. So let's talk about 5 improvements that add more value than they cost. So everyone wants to do these kinds of improvements, but just because an improvement doesn't add as much value as it costs doesn't mean you shouldn't do it. These are just the kind of things that you more than likely do want to do before you sell, because you're only doing it to sell. Most improvements people make to a property you do because you want the improvement and you value it, so it's okay that it doesn't add as much value as it costs. But here's 5 things that do. Paint. So you can totally transform the inside of a house with paint. And generally, whether you do it yourself or even if you hire someone, you're going to get more bang for your buck when you actually paint the house and just transform it. It's amazing, the transforming ability of paint. The other thing is kitchen backsplash and hardware. So you can spend a lot of money in a kitchen. When you see a pie chart of like kitchen renovations, the vast majority of the cost is usually cabinets and then countertops after that. But without messing with those expensive things, just changing out the backsplash and then changing out all the pulls or the hardware can really transform the look of a kitchen and make a big difference at relatively minimal expense. Curb appeal, obviously, just that's a classic one. Messing with the curb appeal of a house, cleaning out the flower beds, adding some mulch, tidying up the yard, that really makes it pop. And it's not necessarily that truly increases the appraised value, but the way people are able to see and perceive the property and the value they impart to it, if that makes sense, will be increased a lot more than what it costs to do that. It's definitely worth doing. Light fixtures, generally not that expensive. You can spend a lot of money on light fixtures, but you don't have to, and you can really transform the look of a room with a cool, stylish fixture. So keep that in mind. And the last thing we're going to talk about is what I call the finishing touch. So this one's a little bit more vague, a little bit more ambiguous, but if we're looking at a property and it's like 90% from being in category 1, it's just barely in category 2. If they would change this one thing, it would move up to category 1, or it would move from category 3 to category 2. I don't really actually have categories, but I'm just trying to illustrate the point. If the house feels like, oh man, this house is almost move-in ready if it was just for the floors. The floors are super dingy. This carpet is like torn and old. Everything else looks great. Do the carpet. If it's like, man, the whole house feels updated except the kitchen countertops are green in the worst way, then it's like, change the countertops. I'm not always an advocate for changing countertops, but if it's the thing that helps get you the rest of the way there, so after you do that thing, it's like, wow, the house is perceived in a whole new way, that thing is generally worth doing. And that could be a lot of different things. So that is pretty subjective. It's case by case, but I call that principle the finishing touch, and it's always worth doing. So there's more things that add more value than they cost, but those 5 things will get you started. Stay tuned for more videos.